Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my Let Go to Grow podcast. I am your host, Passionate, and this is a safe space that I have created for women and men, non binary, and everyone in between, where we can dive into the areas in which we desire to grow, possible reasons as to why we're not achieving specific outcomes, and things you may need to let go of in order to achieve those things that we want to achieve in life, whether that be, people, places, things, environments, you name it. We talking, honey. So go ahead and grab you a blunt, a glass of wine, your notebook, because it's about to get real, baby. But most importantly, this is a space filled with love, laughs, and healing. Thank you for going on this journey with me, and let's get into the episode. Hey, everybody. It's so good to be back. And oh my gosh, I got like so much tea to share with y'all just to recap over the last few months that I have been MIA with releasing episodes. And it's not because I fell off or anything like that. A girl was going through some life shit. Okay. I was going through some life stuff, major changes, and I wanted to share it with you guys in the moment, but for some reason, Spirit kept blocking my message. And maybe because it was meant to be blocked, because if I would have released those episodes that I plan on doing way back when, I would be coming on here right now looking like a walking contradiction. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay, because we're living and we're learning and we're just going through this life shit. Okay, this is our first time going through this life shit that we can remember. So we just got to give ourselves grace and love and comfort and understanding through the process, because this shit is not easy. It's not easy trying to find yourself and take risk and be brave, but also be logical and strategic and all of those things. Trying to find the balance between your masculine and your femininity is such a crucial thing right now. So that's what I'm going through, pretty much. to recap, that's what I'm going through. But I don't regret any of what I experienced at all, to be honest, because I knew that I moved with genuine intentions, and I knew that my decisions were coming from my heart. And I'm a fire sign. I'm a Leo, I'm a very loving person. And a lot of the decisions that I make come from my heart, which it's probably why I'm a little impulsive, but, that's neither here or there. I don't regret what I experienced, because, it taught me a lot, and it taught me a lot about myself. And so just to kind of get into the tea time, back in September, I put in my 30-day notice for my apartments with my boyfriend at the time. I'm sure that you guys remember him. We have an episode out together. Now, obviously, as I'm sure you guys can tell, we are not together anymore. And so let me just recap. I put in my 30-day notice at my apartments. Me and him were staying in Stockton, and put in my 30-day notice. We pack most of what we could fit inside of this car that we had just got off the lot, and drove. And we drove to Arizona. And, he had this thing with his job, and he had a job set up. So, we were like, okay, let's have a fresh start. And he was going to do what he could to elevate his music with his manager, because his manager stayed in Arizona and it was closer to a resource that had financial means. And he told me I wasn't, not qualified, but I wasn't, what's the word? I'm blanking out right now, but I'm not required. There you go. I'm not required to work, and I could just use my time to focus on my podcast and elevate that. And I was like, you know what? I'm not sure, because I've always grown up with like a lot of independent women in my life, and they've always told me, make sure you're able to take care of yourself. Don't rely on a man. Things like that. Like, always make sure you have enough to make sure that you're good, no matter in what predicament that you're in. And it's just so crazy how like we are taught and raised better, but then we still make dumbass decisions. And that was a dumbass decision on my part. I believed him, and we went out there. Ended up in Kansas because his job moved him out there, and it was me, him, his manager, all in a house. And from like the outside looking in, or just from like a base level perspective, it was a cool setup. I didn't have to work. I just had to make sure the house was cool, make sure the pets was cool, and just pour into myself. But I am a social person. Like, I thrive off building connections with people and foundating myself through relationships wherever I'm at. And me being so far away from my family and my friends and stability and a familiar foundation where I kind of had to build everything from scratch, it was like it was a fresh canvas, but the canvas didn't start off white. It started off gray. And it was like trying to paint a bright background over the gray, but the gray is still seeping through. It's like, damn, this didn't even start off like as something I truly wanted to do for real. It was me trusting in a man and putting his dreams and his career before my own stability, before my own career, before my instincts and my intuition and my comfortability, and I feel like in life it's very good to get out of your comfort zone, but do it in directions that actually feel right with your spirit, because that direction did not feel right with my spirit. I think most decisions that I have made in life that were prosperous for me, they brought me excitement as well as a little bit of anxiety because it's something different, but never in my mind did I have a second thought to no, I shouldn't do this. This might be the wrong decision. And during that time I did. I had that thought that, this might not be the right decision, that maybe I should figure out a plan B and stay where I'm at. And, if things truly do work out for him out there by himself and he gets founded and it's stable and structured, then he can send for me and, we can go from there or something. But I didn't, I went with my heart. I led with love, and I, journeyed with my man across the country, and it was a very amazing experience. But it was also me kind of going through a grieving process too, because I wasn't ready to leave my environment, and I mostly did it for him, not so much myself, because if it was up to me, I wouldn't have went to Kansas. Like, the fuck is out there? Not shit. But, and that just goes to show us we always need to follow our first mind and our first instincts when it comes to things like that, especially major life decisions, because, you only live once, but that doesn't mean you need to be impulsive with your decisions. And I'm learning that as I'm getting older. I was pretty impulsive years ago, and I thought I learned from my mistake, and God just sent me another version of what I went through, not as traumatic as what I went through with, my previous relationship, but still traumatic within its own ways of being a huge deal or a huge incident, because it's damn, now I got to journey all the way back to California from Kansas with all of my stuff and my cat and, all of these things. And it costs a lot of money. And it was a day plus trip, and it was it's not like I just moved to a different city. Shawty went on a whole fucking adventure. So, yeah. I left back in October and stayed out there, was out there for Thanksgiving and New Year's, and ended up, funny thing, is so crazy because I'm back in California now, and I came out here beginning of February, and the crazy thing is I wasn't even supposed to stay out here. I was only coming out here to visit my family because I was feeling down. I was feeling depressed. Honestly, I was feeling really lost and unmotivated in my life. I wasn't sure what direction God was sending me being out there in Kansas, and I felt very ungrounded. A phrase that kept going through my head when I was out there and just in my own energy and, not really connecting with my partner like that as much, not on a deep emotional or spiritual level. I felt like it kind of got real base level. And I stopped feeling seen and heard and loved and nurtured and cared for properly in the ways that I wanted, instead of the ways that he felt like I should want or felt like I should be grateful to receive, but it wasn't in the ways that I was expressing to him, And so, just going through that, I was kind of starting to lose myself and lose my identity. You know, I knew I wanted to pour into my podcast, but we were still kind of struggling a little bit financially, and we didn't have the extra funds to pour into the things that I wanted to do. And, you know, I didn't like feeling like a burden, because I'm very much a hustler. I'm very much a go-getter kind of woman, and I handle my own and I take care of my own shit, and I don't like putting my stuff on other people because I know how expensive I am, to be real. Like, I know how expensive I am. So I'd rather just pay for my own stuff and not even put that on nobody else, because I'm gonna be upset if you can't meet my standards of what I can do for myself, period. You feel me? And so, in that moment, I lessened my standards. I started to settle for a lower version of what I was used to providing for myself. And, you know, it just really caused me to kind of get out of touch with myself. And like I said, a phrase that I kept feeling or repeating in my head was, I felt like I was floating in the atmosphere, and like gravity, instead of pulling me down, was pulling me up. It was pulling me up into space, and I could not grip a hold of the ground. I could not ground myself. I could not stabilize myself. I felt very unstable in my energy. And it was like I was gripping onto the ground and pulling grass out of the earth, trying to pull myself back down. And I couldn't, you know, I'm holding on to the grass, but the rest of my body is gravitating towards the sky. And that was a scary thing. It was a scary thing. And it was a very, very dark place that I was in. And no one truly, really knew how much of a dark place I was in that moment, because full transparency, you know, I have struggled with suicidal thoughts for years, like since I was a kid, maybe starting like 11, maybe I was like 11. And I was like struggling with suicidal thoughts and stuff. And, you know, I know a lot of people struggle with suicidal thoughts and self-harm and things like that. And thank God I've never made it to that point where I truly tried to harm myself. But I have been in such low places with myself emotionally and mentally and spiritually that I was very, very close to doing it. And it scared me because, you know, I have such big dreams and goals and aspirations in my life that I want to accomplish. And, you know, I love the people around me. And I know that if I were to do anything to myself, that would just completely shatter them. So they're a big reason why I don't. And also, because of the fact that like I have big dreams and goals and aspirations, there are things that I want to do for myself that I want to be able to say that I did and I was able to accomplish and overcome in this lifetime. You know, I don't want the stresses of life or my own emotions or my own perspective of life taint the way I live it. And so in those very, very deep, dark places, I was very grateful that God was able to pull me out of it each and every time. So that I am able to still be here and talk to you guys and express to you and, you know, offer a space where we can all feel seen and validated and heard, you know, and loved, because it's like I'm sending you guys love through everything that I release out to you guys. I'm sending you love. I'm sending myself love, because hey, we all need a little extra love in our life, even if it is just us showing more love to ourselves, you know. But I was in a very deep, dark place in my life in that moment, feeling very disconnected from myself and my purpose and the reason why I was even placed on this earth. You know, what was I even placed to do here? And so ended up, you know, taking a last minute trip out here to California to visit my family, just to kind of get a break, a little reset. And it actually was, you know, my ex-partner's idea to do so. And, you know, it felt really nice to be with someone that seen me. I felt like had my best interests in my mental health and things like that. But unfortunately, God had different plans. And during that separation, our temporary separation ended up becoming permanent. And instead of me going back to, you know, being out in California for a time and going back to Kansas to my home with, you know, my chosen family, I ended up going back to Kansas to grab my belongings and coming back home to California with my born family. And, you know, sometimes God, I feel like, has to send you back to square one so you can start over from the beginning and see where you misstepped in order to build a greater foundation for yourself that is unshakable and indestructible. Because while we can build ourselves this beautiful, palace of stability and growth and all the things that align our chakras to bring us into, becoming a better person or the best version of ourselves that we can build our metaphorical home from the ground up. And there's always going to be something that knocks it down. There's always going to be that tower moment where something breaks or something shatters, or you got to fix something. You got to work on something. But the goal, I feel like, is to get to a point where in those tower moments, it doesn't completely dismantle your entire foundation to where you have to start from square one. It may knock you down from C to B, but not all the way from C to A, because if your foundation is strong enough, things above it may get rocky or shaky or break, or you may need to fix it, but it's not going to take you nearly as long as it would if you rushed to build your house and you didn't make sure you had a stable foundation underneath to hold everything up sturdily. And equating that to just, like the mental shit, like doing your necessary mental work and healing to make sure that even if you put yourself in a position where you trust the wrong person, or put yourself in a position where you trust the wrong environment for yourself, you have a sort of foundation that is strong enough to withstand whatever you face that may set you back. Whether that be financially, whether that be emotionally, making sure you don't get out of temperament with certain things, composing yourself, protecting your energy from those fucking energy vampires that just want to suck the life out of you and drain you from your light, dim your light, whether that's financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is that you need to have that's foundated to where if someone comes into your life and say it's a person, say it's a lover or a partner or whatever, and they come into your life and they try to fuck up your foundation emotionally, make you insecure because of their own insecurities, or try to control you because their lack of control that they feel within themselves, or, their, who they are, their lack of knowing who they are, whatever it is that they have unhealed within themselves that they try to push off onto you, you need to be founded in yourself and in your person to block that shit. Okay, this relationship didn't work out. I may have just gotten to know somebody for no reason, or that's not going to be my life forever, but at least they didn't cause me to lose myself. At least I didn't take what they're saying too personally to the point where I started to try to fix certain things myself that are quote unquote wrong, when really it's them that need to fix those things within themselves that they're trying to, project onto me. And that's what I mean by foundate yourself financially. Say that you get into a relationship and you're with a man or just a masculine figure that tells you, oh, you don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. I will provide for you. I will pay all the bills. I will do this. You don't need to have your own money. I got you, so on and so forth. It's nothing wrong with being with a partner that truly wants to provide for you in all areas, but it's always good to have yourself founded financially, because money is power, and people will use that to control you and manipulate you and get you to do anything and everything that they want, and expect you to not give them any pushback or have any opinion on anything or any of that, So money is power, and you need to make sure that you're founded in your own funds, just in case, for whatever unfortunate reason, if you're with someone who is the sole financial provider and they decide, oh, I don't want to be with you anymore, you need to get out, they have that right to just kick you out. And instead of you being on your ass because you completely trusted this person and didn't set anything aside for yourself for a rainy day or any emergency, instead you would be able to
get back on your feet and make sure you have enough money to get yourself to a safe space, a safe place, get yourself your own place, and make sure you're not, like I said, on your ass. Because I made that mistake of not doing that, and I did not stack in any kind of way when my ex was taking care of everything financially. And when we ended up breaking up, I had to come back to California and stay with my mom for a while, because I didn't have my own funds put up to be able to go and put down for another place when I came back out here, or have my own spot or anything like that. So it's pros and cons that comes with certain things of that nature, but always making sure that yourself is founded, no matter who you're with, no matter where you're at, is very key, and it's very important.
But that has just been a lot of things that I've been going through with my life. I made a big major move in my environment. I moved across country. I tried that out for a few months. Things ended up not working with someone that truthfully I thought I was going to marry. Like I had him on this podcast. We have a song out together. I interviewed him as an artist on a professional level. And I truthfully was thinking about deleting it, but I honestly feel like there were a lot of gems in there, because even though the relationship ended and we're not together anymore, and I doubt we're ever going to get back together, the love that we shared was very real and it was very genuine, and I don't regret it for a second, because he taught me a whole lot about myself, about how I wanted to be treated in a relationship and how I didn't want to be treated, what I wanted to expect and what I was shown that I could expect out of a relationship, and things that I was shown that I could expect maybe a little more out of, in a relationship. The kind of bond and, connection and love that we shared was very real. And I am extremely grateful to him for that, because he was the most healthy relationship that I had ever experienced. Like the communication, at least in the beginning, it was very real, it was very transparent and very honest. And at some point down the line, it got shaky and we were unable to elevate on it. But hey, it was good while it lasted. And I don't regret that. And I don't feel regretful for any of it. The only thing I feel regretful for was how it ended, to be honest, because what I realized, like, it's very, very, very disappointing and such a shame when, breakups bring out the worst in each other. Because from my perspective, I truly wanted to depart on as much love and understanding as possible. But there were certain factors that kind of prevented that from happening the way that I hoped and prayed for it to happen. And yeah, it's just a shame how breakups can bring out the worst in each other, especially when there was a lot of love there to begin with, and especially when it wasn't, toxic or abusive or anything like that. Yeah. So I'm still going through my grieving process. Obviously, it's only been a month since we've been broken up, and I've been, back in my own energy. So I'm still grieving, still learning my flow as an individual woman again, and finding myself and finding my purpose. But I know that no matter what I go through, I can always come back to this, and I can always come back to just sharing with you guys and releasing here and knowing that I know that I'm not the only person going through some type of heartbreak or tower moment or major life shift. And like I said, my podcast is literally here just to show you guys that you're not alone, let you know that you have a safe space to hear yourself in another person, because sometimes hearing ourselves in someone else helps us know that, okay, maybe I'm not as stupid as I thought it was, or maybe I'm not as gullible or naive or dim-witted, or, maybe I'm not as alone as I thought I was, or maybe I'm not as whatever. Because it's like, we're human. We all make mistakes and we all have to learn from them. That's the whole point of life, is to make mistakes and learn from it, and learn what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and do your best to move in a better energetic light than you did before, and make decisions that honor the way that you want to be treated and how you want to experience life, than to continue to make those same decisions that make you question, why am I going through this? And why, like, does God hate me, or like, you know, like some whatever dramatic shit that you ask yourself or ask the universe, you know, why is this happening to me, like what did I do to deserve this? Like, nah, we're done with that. It's 2026. We're done with tolerating less than what we deserve and settling for things that cause us emotional distress. Period. That's period. That's a period. Okay. Because I know I am tired of it. I know that I don't want to keep going through this. And I know that I'm going to learn from my mistakes because I'm a great learner. I am. I really, really am. And I'm truly excited for, you know, the next journey that God has in store for me, because whenever he removes something, it's because he's making room for something else. And I just cannot wait to experience the room that he is making for me, and the rooms that he's going to have me walk into and own and freaking just stunting. Like, baby, I'm fucking ready to just break out and be a boss bitch, like on some real shit. Like, for real. And I push this energy off into everybody that is listening to this. Like, I send you boss energy. You know, I send you boss bitch energy. I don't know if any guys listen to my podcast because I'm very feminine, but I send you just boss energy, period. You know, masculine, feminine boss energy. Okay, because this is the time where it's time for us to freaking step into our power, step into our purpose, step into everything that we've been manifesting for ourselves, our business, our careers, what makes us happy, whether that's just getting out the house more and experiencing life more. Like, it is time for us to not hold back any part of ourselves to please anybody else. It is time for us to stop holding back parts of ourselves, period. You know, like, we only have this life. Like I said, we only have this life that we remember. Okay. You may or may not believe in reincarnation. I do. Because when there's a new baby that's born and they just a little bit too familiar with their personality or the people around them and stuff like that, we're like, ooh, they've been here before. Yeah, they probably freaking have. Okay. And I believe in all that. So we only have this one life that we remember, and we got to live it to the best of our ability. So when that time comes and it's time for us to transition into the next phase of our life and let go of this reality, the life that flashes before us from what we just experienced, I want that to be a beautiful life. I want that to be like, wow, I may have experienced heartbreak and I experienced this and I experienced that and grief or whatever, but man, look at the life I lived. Look at the imprint that I left on the world or on the people that I love and care about. Look at what I built. Look at what I foundated. Look at how much I healed. Look at the love I have around me. Look at all this support and these people that constantly poured into me over the years and who I was able to pour back into. Man, look at what God blessed me with. That is what I want to be able to look back on with my life. And that is what I pray for all of you guys to be able to look back on with your life when that time comes and it flashes before you. Those are the feelings that I want you to experience. That feeling of love and peace and gratitude. And that only comes with being your authentic self in this life. Because when you're yourself, you don't have any regrets. When you know you're being yourself and you know that you're moving fucking genuine, if anyone has a problem with that shit, you won't care because you know that you're being yourself. And you knew that you're moving with pure, genuine, loving intentions. And you knew that you took as much accountability as you could in the moments that you needed to. And you knew that it was necessary for you to hold certain people accountable for certain things that they needed. And if they didn't take that well, oh well. I love you guys. I love you guys. And I love you so much for just being here with me and listening to me rant, listening to my crazy story of just following my heart. And it's so funny because I'm going off on another tangent, you know, and I don't care. But it's so funny because my mom asked me, she was like, do you have any regrets? You know, like looking back on your relationship, and not even just this one, but your last one. Cause you know how parents, they like to call you out and you'd be like, damn, like I didn't even ask for all your input and you just throwing all my shit in my face. but I got to listen to it. So whatever, go ahead. Like that's how I was feeling. But she was like, looking back on your relationship, and not even just this one, your other one, do you have any regrets in your life? Da, da, da. And I was like, I can't. I was like, I can't have any regrets because what purpose does that serve me? And she was like, well, it may not serve like your purpose, like it's not going to change anything, but like, do you have any regrets? And I'm just like, I can't, honestly. Like, I can't have any regrets because, like I told you guys in the beginning, I move with pure intentions from my heart, and moving in that light, I can't have any regrets. I can't. I told her I chose to live my life with no regrets, and she brought up the things that I should be regretful for, and yeah, part of me kind of regrets them, letting them get to a certain magnitude. I do have certain regrets, but I'm not sure if I would make any different decisions if I were to go back. Or maybe I would have. Maybe I would have ended it sooner. Maybe I wouldn't have held on as long. Maybe that would have been the only thing I would have changed. But giving those certain people a chance, I don't think I would have changed that. I think I probably would have still fell for them and still went down that rabbit hole because I needed to. And I don't know what it is I need to heal within myself in order to not go for the guys that aren't necessarily good for me. Or maybe that's just the lessons that God predetermined for my life that I need to learn. Maybe that's just in my genetic coding. And I know that I will overcome this because, hey, first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. Third time, I ain't pulling the trigger on nobody. So it's just not about to happen a third time. Okay. Third time, you're getting booted. You're getting scooted and booted. Okay. Third time, Passionate has no tolerance. Passionate has boundaries. Passionate knows her worth. Passionate is not going to settle for less than what she deserves. Passionate is not looking to feed into anybody's potential. Okay. You're either coming fucking ready and willing, or you need to get on and keep it pushing and keep it moving. Okay. Because that is how Passionate is moving with a third time's a charm. Okay. And that's what I mean by like, I learned from my mistakes and I understood what my mom was asking me and things like that. But I'm a lover girl. I am a lover girl. I'm such a lover girl. I really am. And maybe I'm blindly in love. Maybe I'm stupidly in love, sometimes at times, but I love to love. I do. I have a lot of love, and I am learning to discern who is qualified for that love and who is not, and not feeling no type of way with denying people access to this love, because I know this love is great and I know it would fucking transform you, but that's not my job or obligation or duty to transform you. Okay. That is the person's job that is designated and designed for you specifically, but that person is not me. Okay. And that is what I need to work on more, because while I have built up a lot of boundaries and develop my discernment more, there are still areas in which it's lacking. And, like I said, we're just humans and we're living and we're learning. We're living and we're learning, and I'm still working on that. Okay. I'm still working on it. I am 25, about to be 26 this year. I'm still young, but I am getting wiser as the years go on. So, I am being very intentional about being intentional on the kind of people that I have in my space and in my aura and in my energy, and the kind of people that I entertain, and even the kind of energy that I entertain with myself, like towards myself, to myself. Because, we are a reflection of the people that we have around us, and we attract what we expel. And we all have to do that necessary work within ourselves, looking within ourselves, like, what is it within my character that attracted this kind of person and continues to attract this kind of person? Why is it that I'm dating the same person with a different face and name? And we have to ask ourselves these questions, because it's not just all them. It's not just all their faults. Oh, he did this. Oh, he did that. Or he's this, or he's that, or they're this, or she's that, and she's that. Yeah, she may be this, and that. Yes, he may be this, there, and that. But also at the same time, why do you keep attracting that same kind of person? What does I show? What does I say about you? What does I show within yourself that you need to fucking fix and work on? And that's what I'm going through within myself, as far as like growing and continuing to heal from certain shit, because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is it within myself that keeps attracting these similar ass niggas. Like, like I'm really trying to figure that out. And full transparency with you guys, I'm so transparent with y'all. You have no idea. I do not even talk this deeply. Actually, that's a lie. I talk this deeply with my best friend, but she's a very spiritual and intuitive woman, and we be on the same vibrational wavelength. And so I love confiding in her about things because she knows that she has a safe space with me too. But other than that, I do not talk to people like this. So the fact that I am really confiding in y'all and expressing myself on this platform for anybody to listen to, including the people that I am not comfortable with expressing to you in person, is hilarious. That just makes me laugh. Because I can't see you guys, so it's easier doing it that way. But no, full transparency though, I have come to the conclusion that I'm going to be celibate until my honeymoon. And it's so funny because I know in our generation and day and age, who waits till marriage? Like, who's going to wait till marriage? No one does that anymore. And I feel like a lot of men use that as manipulation as well too, because they'll try to play their role for as long as they can in order to lock you down and stuff. And then next thing you know, their true colors show and you're like, you weren't like this before you got married. Yeah, that bitch was fucking playing you. He was lying. She was lying. Anyways, but no, truly and wholeheartedly, I am waiting until marriage before I give myself to another person, because I am tired of doing that energetic exchange with someone who is not meant to be in my life indefinitely. And I know that, no one's meant to be in your life forever because there are unexpected tragic events, things happen, people grow apart, whatever, so on and so forth. But for me personally, and this has nothing to do with religion, because I am more of a spiritual person than I am religious. I do not identify with any religion, but I believe in God and I'm very connected to him. I've said this in multiple episodes, so I just feel like I need to repeat it in case this is someone's first time listening to me. I apologize if I have to repeat some of my phrases. When I'm talking fast, I tend to slur my words, so I'm trying to work on that. But I love y'all and thank you for bearing with me. I'm tired of doing that energetic exchange with people who are not meant to be in my life indefinitely, because I am such a lover girl and an emotional person. I am a Pisces moon. Okay. I am an emotional roller coaster. I am fire and I am water. And I'm never both at the same time. I think I'm either one or the other. I'm either emotional and I'm crying and I'm like, just kiss me on my forehead and hug me and tell me you love me. Or I'm hot and I'm like either explosive or temperamental, or I just shut down and I'm just cold and still, like unfeeling. And so I'm learning that within my expression and my moods and things like that. But to get on with what I was saying, like I said, I am a lover girl. I feel a lot. So therefore, having sex with someone is never just sex with me. Like, that is something very deep, something very personal. And I realize it takes a fucking big toll on my body, and it takes a big toll on my mental space and my emotional space, because that is an energetic exchange. And if you're not careful with who you are doing that act with, you will pick up their emotions and their demons and things like that. They would transfer that shit to you. And if you're already an empath and an emotionally feely kind of person, you're going to pick up on that, and then you're going to wonder, oh my gosh, why the hell am I feeling like this? I am very sensitive. My emotions are out of whack. I'm imbalanced. I am not aligned within myself. I don't feel secure within myself. I'm worried about the next person. I'm worried about what he's doing. I'm worried about what this person's doing. I'm worried about what she's doing, so on and so forth. And it's like, I don't even want to feel like that. If I connect with someone again, I want it to be someone who I'm completely sure and secure in, especially because the last person that I was with, I truly felt like that was going to be my husband. I was making a lot of moves in my life to, for us to align together and build longevity and an empire and a legacy. And when that whole foundation just completely dismantled the way that it did, it was such a shock for me, and it hurt a whole lot. Like, it hurt so freaking much to have to endure that and go through that, but I didn't have a choice, and I knew I didn't because it was necessary, and it just had to be what it was. But that shit fucking sucked. especially because of how invested I was, especially because of how invested my heart was, and just me truly feeling like I found my husband, and realizing that that was not my husband. It was like, damn, I would not have given myself to you if I didn't think that you were. And so instead of me putting myself in a position to get, to just gain soul ties with another person, because honestly, that's what makes it hard for me to leave relationships, is like those soul tie connections. Because without the soul ties, I would have like been able to see the red flags sooner and fucking dismiss the whole situation. But with the soul ties, now I am looking through life or through things with a rose colored lens and giving the benefit of the doubt in areas that disrupt my peace and break my boundaries. And I know that that is something that clouds my judgment, because I'm such a ride or die loyal person that I will do anything for the person that I love. And I have realized that I have been giving that energy to people who don't deserve it. So moving forward, and this is my testimony, my accountability to myself with y'all, because now I'm sharing it with y'all, and now you guys are gonna have to keep me accountable. No, I'm just kidding, not keep me accountable, but you know what I mean, like, you know, make sure I ain't slipping on my pimping. I don't know. Or at least you know about it, so you'll be able to be like, hey, you know, whatever. I don't know. I think just the fact that I'm sharing it with you guys and I know that it's going to be out there for other people to hear keeps me accountable in my head, because it's like, oh, this isn't just something that I told myself, and if I break it, who knows? But now it's like, if I break it, I know other people know, and even if no one else knows I broke it, I know that I did, and I'm gonna feel shitty. So this is my accountability, extra accountability for myself in that area, I guess. Just not letting myself fall too head over heels for someone, and thinking that that act is necessary in order to have a strong foundation and longevity in a relationship. Because truly, if a man loves you, he will have sexual discipline. He will not be a lustful man, and he will make sure he gets to know you in and out, you know, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, before he even gets to the physical. And it's like, we're human. Obviously, you want someone that you're attracted to, and things like that. And it may be, you know, a temptation and stuff like that. But if a man truly loves you, he will wait for you. And he will make sure that he dives into and penetrates your mind, your body, or not your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul before he penetrates your body. Just to truly make sure that you feel safe within his essence, and vice versa. Because I know me as a woman, I love depth, I love intellect, I love intellectual conversations. I love when my spirit and my soul feels like they feel seen with another person, which is why I feel like I'm so close with my friends, because that's how I feel with them. And that's the kind of soul connection that I look for in my lover as well. And so, not like I'm trying to put y'all on game, because any dude that listen to this, don't think that you feel me, can just come and waltz your way in because I didn't put y'all in some game or whatever. You can fake the funk for so long, okay, but not long enough. Anywho, but you know, that's what I look for within like any relationship that I have, especially a romantic one, but that just goes for any relationship, period. I look for depth, I look for intellect, I look for, you know, those real conversations where we can just truly see each other and hear each other, and not have those base level conversations, those low vibrational conversations. So yeah, with me personally, I am going to hold my future candidates to that criteria of getting to know me first, and taking it slow, and, you know, seeing where things go. And if they elevate into a relationship, cool. That's beautiful. But don't think just because you're in a relationship that you're about to get access to all of me, because that's still not about to happen unless you put a ring on it and give me your last name, baby. Okay, because I am a wife. That's on period. I am a wife. I know that I am somebody's wife. I just haven't met my husband yet. And that is energy that I'm moving in until I do. And yeah. So if anybody else resonates with that, feel free to like drop a comment or something in the episode chat or whatnot. I would truly appreciate you guys' feedback on what I expressed to you guys, but that's what I have just come to the conclusion with in my life, because I truly feel like I need that isolated time to really figure myself out, figure out what I like and what I don't like, what I love, what I want to experience with life, what I want out of life, and what I want out of my partner, and how I want to be loved and how I want to be catered to, and how I want to experience that kind of connection in its fullness. And I don't want anything that is too fleshly clouding or tainting that connection before it truly has an opportunity to become fruitful. Yeah, I think that's a beautiful place to be in, personally. Anyways, this episode went on a little bit long, but I just had to update you guys on a lot of stuff that's been going on in my life, and I can't wait to continue to share with you guys more things. Routinely episodes here to come, because your girl is back. She's better than ever. It's 2026, new year, new me, baby. Okay, so yeah, I love you guys so much, and there may be a new year, but certain things don't change, and we're gonna close this episode out with a loving prayer. Let's get into it. Dear God, dear Holy Spirit, dear Yeshua, dear high power, almighty heavenly Father, thank you so much for blessing us with another day of life. Thank you for allowing us to be here in this space together always, no matter what time or day that, the person on the other end of this speaker is listening to this. I pray that you just continue to bless them, continue to guide them and cover them and help them through any hardship that they're going through in life, whether that be heartbreak, whether that be their own version of their tower moment in their life, new place that they need to move into, loss of their apartment, so on and so forth, financial troubles. I pray that you continue to pour into them, help them heal from their barriers and overcome their obstacles and heal from their trauma, so that they're able to move in the world with love and light and wholeness, wholeness and knowing who they are, knowing what they want, and knowing how to obtain it. And I pray that you just continue to uplift us and elevate us and push us to keep striving for better and towards our purpose and our higher self and best good. And in your name, I think I pray and I say amen and Ashe. Thank you guys so much for being here, being with me, continuing to support me. And I pray that this message reaches the necessary audience and that it helps someone get through their own life shit, but may we all continue to let go of the things that do not serve us in order to grow in the areas that do. And until next time. Mwah.